In 1974, America made a deal that nobody talks about, and it rewrote the rules of global power for 50 years. The story doesn't start with oil, it starts with gold. After World War II, every major currency on Earth was pegged to the US dollar, and every dollar was theoretically backed by gold sitting in Fort Knox. Neat system. Except by the early 1970s, America had printed far more dollars than it had gold to back them. The math didn't work, so in 1971, President Nixon did something radical. He severed the link between dollars and gold entirely. Suddenly, the dollar was just paper, and suddenly, nobody knew what anything was worth. Here's where the petrodollar enters. The US faced a credibility crisis. If the dollar wasn't backed by gold, what made it valuable? The answer: oil. America negotiated a historic agreement with Saudi Arabia, the world's largest oil producer. The deal was simple. Saudi Arabia would price all its oil exports exclusively in dollars. In exchange, the US would guarantee Saudi military protection. Suddenly, every nation that wanted to buy oil had to hold dollars. Demand for dollars stabilized. The currency survived. But here's what makes this system work and why it matters. When other nations need oil, they must first acquire dollars to pay for it. That means they hold dollar reserves, buy US Treasury bonds, and keep their savings in American banks. The petrodollar created artificial, sustained demand for US currency that had nothing to do with gold. It was demand manufactured by geopolitics. Nobody in this story is stupid. Look at what they were paid to see. Saudi Arabia got military hardware and regional security. America got the world's reserve currency without the gold. The petrodollar system then rippled outward. OPEC nations followed Saudi Arabia's lead. The dollar's role in oil pricing made it indispensable in global trade. Nations couldn't avoid holding dollars if they wanted to participate in the world economy. This wasn't imperialism by invasion, it was imperialism by infrastructure. And it worked. For decades, the dollar remained the dominant global reserve currency, even as America's share of global GDP shrank. The system has survived wars, recessions, and repeated predictions of its collapse. Why? Because the alternative is chaos. If oil were priced in euros, yuan, or a basket of currencies, every transaction becomes a negotiation. Every nation's central bank has to hold multiple reserve currencies. The costs multiply. The petrodollar, despite its flaws, remains the lowest friction solution to a genuinely hard problem. How do you price a scarce resource that everyone needs in a world of competing currencies? Today, the petrodollar system faces real pressure. Some nations are experimenting with alternative arrangements. Some oil trades now occur in other currencies, but no replacement has emerged with enough liquidity, trust, or global infrastructure to dethrone the dollar. The system persists not because it's perfect, but because the costs of switching are immense, and the benefits of stability for most players outweigh the costs. So to answer the original question, the petrodollar system exists because America needed the dollar to remain valuable after abandoning gold, and Saudi Arabia needed security. Their deal created a mechanism that locked the rest of the world into using dollars for the commodity everyone depends on. It's not a conspiracy. It's an incentive structure. And incentive structures, once built at that scale, don't dissolve easily. This video is for educational and informational purposes only and is not financial advice. Always do your own research. If you want to understand how global power flows through currency and commodities, subscribe. We break down the unseen infrastructure behind geopolitical shifts every week. This video is for educational and informational purposes only and is not financial advice. Always do your own research.